Good afternoon, guys. It's Sunday the 17th of January. I'm Henry Green from London Trading Group, and I'm just going to run through what I'm expecting for the current week. So I'm going to start with Euro-Dollar as I usually do. We've seen a strong rejection up here at 109.80. I had that as the 100 moving average as well, a moving average that had held really nicely on the day. So I was kind of expecting that to bounce somewhere around the 109.80s area. I had that as quite a toppy level, and as such it did bounce. So in my 60-minute fibs, I'd actually plotted the top side, and again it's kind of failed to close. And if you take the if we're talking about high highs and high lows, then this close actually has ruined that potential higher high that we were going to make. But I do think that this is still kind of just wedged in this range between 108.20 and now a top side of 109.80. And as such, it's a really difficult direction to try and pick in this one. So if I'm going to pick anyone, I'd still just look for sells up at 109.80 and be buying it down at 108.20 before it kind of shows me where it wants to go. This top side of 110.25 I've got as a really good level, so I think you see a close through there, and then you do really take on that top side, and you take on this outer daily trend line that I've got drawn up here, which is this blue line, and that's what I'm looking for Euro-Dollar. Should we see that top side take out? What I'd probably be looking to do is, instead of playing Euro-Dollar pairs, be looking for other pairs, maybe against the euro, particularly if we have setup. So if we had a potential short euro setup in a different currency and Euro-Dollar was up at 109.80, I think then I'd start to be looking for sort of cross pair sells, and that's what I'd be looking for euro. For the coming week. I don't think the direction is clear for me, but should we turn over, a close below 108.20 is a certain sell for me, and they're the kind of areas that I'm looking for. So until then, until we either break the top side of 110.20 or the bottom side of 108.20 and through the lows of 108, I'm certainly not looking to play Euro-Dollar, because I think it hasn't chosen the direction that it wants to go in yet. So just be careful with Euro-Dollar. 60-minute D takes us up to 110.10, so I think we may find some rejection in and around there. So should we get up there, so that 110.20 is probably quite a good zone to sell, and then also a sell through this past market angle that I've got in here. So that was just replicated from this move back there. So a close through here, if we make another nice lower high on a 60 and we take on this trend line through there, I think it opens up the bottom side, it takes out 108, and then we go down to 107.20, which is a level that I've mentioned before, and one that I do think we hit. The current target on the bottom side, it's still not taken out this downwards fib, so the current target on the bottom side, we are looking between 107.80 and 107.40, so somewhere in between there I expect it to hold. Maybe we see this outer trend line hold, so 107, that looks around going to be about 107.80, so maybe that's what happens for Euro-Dollar this week. As I said, be careful with that one, I don't think it's the clearest. Cable, just a huge sell-off in cable. This is a runaway market. Now where can it stop? So I've actually had to put some more daily levels in for this today, just because of the way that it's sold off. It's kind of rallied. If we're going to get any sort of rally, it's up to the ATMA. So you see it break through that on the daily, then that's the only time I can sort of start to look for a retracement and start to look for the long side of cable. It just doesn't look like it's going to stop at the moment. My next level down is 141.90, which lines really nicely up with this daily D. So with my hourly D. So that is my next play. So I just wait for a pullback. Obviously, if it just continues to sell off when the market's open later this evening and into tomorrow morning, then again it's not a sell yet for me. I've got to wait for some sort of pullback, and I'll be looking for this past market angle again to put in. So say we bounce this evening, this angle goes in for me, and I'd just be looking to sell through this when it does bounce. It's closed bang at a level at this 142.50, so we could see a little reaction, but I do think 141.90 is quite an easy move, and that goes then into the first daily rejection zone that I'd be looking for potential cable to bounce. So you could see it bounce at 141.90. 142 obviously is a round figure as well, so that's potentially could be a good one. So you might see this 60-minute D hit, and then we reject and close back below it, back above 142. Sorry, and that's the only thing I can look to play in cable at the moment. You've got to only play the short side, so be looking for good areas to sell this. Again, if you take this channel and we just extend this to the right, I think if you see that broken above that, then this whole market's changing shape, and that's when I think you see the retracement. We have hit the D, so this is the first. Is runaway market, quick move. No pullback seen yet, so we expect it to reject between the 118 and the 127. So I am waiting to see whether this rejects somewhere down in the 141.90s area, and will be expecting a bounce should it get there. Obviously through there you then take on 140, through that and then we go down to 137.40. So that's actually the daily D, but I do expect it to see some sort of bounce, and then we roll over and we go again. So I think maybe into early week you might see a little bit of cable weakness down to 140.190, and then I think you could see a little bounce, and that's what I'll be looking to play in cable if it bounces. But still, you've got to look for the short side. Very, very risky to be buying cable at the moment. Very, very, very bearish close on the daily. So just be careful with that one. Certainly, if you're looking to buy it, just be careful. But certainly, I think the short side will still continue, but just wait for pullbacks, look for good areas to get into that. So certainly if it gets back up to 143.30, I think that's a really good sell. And if it tries to take on this outer trend line, which actually just a channel, the outer channel line, if we try and take that one out, then we could see that fail there as well. So just be careful. Still play pound against the crosses. I think will be a really, really good option for the coming week, and that's what I'm looking for in cable. So dollar yen, another really interesting one. This one's actually looked quite weak, so potential yen strength. I had this market angle in, which, as you can see, this was the market angle which it broke really nicely here. And then we saw this double top formation break lower, and then it's kind of formed here again, and it was resistance here. But this one that we were in beforehand, it's broken back through it, retested it, and we've since sold off. So this actually closed below 117.20, which is quite a key level for me. So you've still got to continually play the downside to this one. Downside for me is 114.80. So we've got a few levels to get there before the 60-minute D gets hit. The actual D is 115.50 I've got as my level. We have retraced really deeply, so we're back, and I'm looking for a target in between sort of 114.70 and 115.50. So any rejections in those zones, I'd be looking to take some profit there if I was short, looking for potential bounce there. So what we could see, if we're saying that it could bounce at 115.50, which is kind of just a little bit lower than the 127, then we could see this retrace tomorrow back into sort of 118.80. It's a long old way up, but if you do get there, that's when I think that becomes a realistic target, and it kind of lines nicely up with the daily level. So just be careful of that. But I do think this looks short. We had a bit of a rejection off 116.40 area, but it looks like it's just pulling back to this ATMA, which is done again, and then we're looking to sell off. So any pullback, I'll be looking to sell through the lows of a lower high on a 60-minute chart, and I think that's probably quite a good tactic. But the yen does look strong. RBay is just kind of, he's slowing down his QE, and hence why potentially the market is pricing in that the yen's been weaker than it should have been. So the market is now seeing this as a long yen position, and hence we're seeing a bit of yen strength down here. And I do think that this could continue down. You've got big levels down here at 116 and 116.20 and 115.50, so just be wary of a bounce at those levels. But for now, I think dollar yen remains a sell, certainly off Friday's close. Dollar CAD is just it looks like it's going to continue. I think it certainly gets to at least 145.85. I think that's a really good zone. That lines nicely up with the 127 without any pullback on the day. So, oops, what have I done there? So certainly I think it gets up to 145.85. Very easy move. Wait for a pullback again. What we've been talking about all the time is you've got to make sure that you don't get stopped out in this. This is a fast-moving market. Obviously, it's got to slow down sometime, and I'm just looking for these daily levels for it to hold at. So 145.85 is my 60-minute D. It could get up to 146.30, which I've got as a daily level. So just be careful of that area as well. It's continually making these higher highs and higher lows. Be looking for good areas to buy this. I had this past market angle in which it retested perfectly on Friday, and we since bounced and we've taken out the highs. So dollar yen does look like a continued buy. I expect it won't go straight up on Sunday, late Sunday evening. I do expect a small pullback. So should we get a pullback, I'd be looking for a 144.50 area sort of buy. If not, if it goes deeper, again we're playing this moving average that had held so well during the week. So if we just look again at this, I believe it's the 80. And it is. This one's been holding so nicely. We've actually had the 50 hold as well. So maybe a rejection at the 50 or at the 80, and even the 21's done really well there. So maybe just look for good areas to buy this. Certainly, I'll be looking to buy this. Should we get into 144s, below 144 as well, if we reject at this at this 80 moving average as well. But dollar CAD looks like a continued buy. And we look like we're going to have continued Canadian weakness into the weekend. If we look at into the coming week, sorry. If we look at oil, I'm just gonna. This is on a chart that you can't see, but if I'm quickly looking at it, let me just check to see whether it went through the low. So oils did actually go through the lows on Friday, and we did since bounce. We're back up at 30.60. So again, we could see those. If we take the lows again, 130.13 was the close of the lows. So if we take those out, then I think you see dollar CAD go even higher. and the D target in dollar CAD is miles and miles away. You go looking up to 153. So should this be a fast moving market, which it can, this is, you could have bought this every single day last week if you'd have got in at good levels. Then we could see that quickly move up to 145, 150, and then 153, which is the final target. Again, pullbacks to the 8 EMA on the day look like they're happening as well. So interesting. Looks like a continued Canadian weakness. We'll look to the Aussie dollar. Again, this one's gone through the lows and closed through the lows. Really interesting market. A quick move, and we're now getting into the rejection zone. So I would expect a bounce somewhere. Sorry, let's move that one back. I am expecting a bounce somewhere here with pullback. And we've not got to the 38 yet, so I'll be looking for this to reject somewhere, and I think 67.30 is the next rejection zone, which lines perfectly up with the D. So just be careful with that one. 67.30 is my key level. The next key level is a rejection zone and a 127, where I think we certainly do bounce. Often when you take out big levels such as this, the 69.10, you often will come back and retest this. So if we go back to retest this, then we hit the 38 and then we can sell off again. And that's when I think 67.50 is taken on. And obviously you might get a spike down into 67.30. That does make sense on the 60 when it's combined with the daily. So just off that analysis, it looks good. It looks like it's holding on the 8 as well. On the daily time frame, but this is making high highs and high lows. So just continually look for the sells and sell this lower. Again, we haven't quite. Again, I've got a good level at 68.10, so just be careful of that one. But I think 67.30 is a good target for a bounce before we then potentially can push higher. EMAs have actually narrowed nicely, so we could have this as a big breakout market now. If you see these kind of when the EMAs go narrow, you often get this initial then push that when they narrow, they then spike out, which looks like it's going to happen at the moment in the Aussie, and hence we then could push lower. We actually have failed at the 127 on the 60 minutes, so just be careful. A pullback into 69.35 is likely, because that is the 38 which we expected to pull back into. Actually, in the move downwards, it always has done that. So just be wary of that one, and I think that could be a good one for next week. Sell up towards 69.35s. If you get into 69.20, I would be looking to sell Aussie. Kiwi, on the other hand, is completely different. We've actually closed really nicely and really bullishly actually in Kiwi. 64.67 was my level that I actually had in, and as you can see, it's closed bang. It rejected off the lows and has closed nearly bang back at support. So that's a real big rejection for that one. And as such, I think you potentially could see this rally. Well, indeed, certainly you see some Kiwi strength. Obviously, through the lows again, you've got to look for the short side. And if you get close below that level, then I think it does open up 64. Through 64, you're then looking at this level down here. What's that? 62.60, and I don't think there's actually very much until you get there. I mean, you've got to call it an intermediary level there at 63.30, but certainly the downside is an option if you then close below 64.60. So be careful of that one as well. 63.50, what's that level? Okay, cool. So we are back at the we're back here. So therefore the 127 is the target. So 63.50, you might go a little bit lower, and then we go down to this level. So should we retrace up towards 64.80, you're then going to take on 63.40 as the target. So I think that's quite a good level. If you get up there, maybe we look for sells, but certainly I wouldn't be looking to buy this. I think that is a nice rejection candle. So if you get if you get a rally on Monday and it closes nicely, then you can start to look for that pullback. On the downside, on the daily downside, where are we? We've gone no pullback, so it's a quick move, and we've actually failed at the 127, so we could actually get back down there. So maybe I think 62.60 is the low for this week, and if you take that out, then you're going to quickly move on to the D, which I know is a lot lower, which is down at 59. So we have taken out this past market angle. We're through that. This is a nicely moving market. Friday was a rejection, so just be careful of playing any shorts instantly as soon as you come in on Monday morning, but certainly I'll be looking to take that short as well. So in summary, I think potentially we've got continued pound and dollar CAD weakness, Canadian weakness. I think potential yen has got a bit more strength in it, so maybe pound yens are going to be a good one, and CAD yen, just as they were last week, I think they could be good again. Aussie dollar looks like it's going to go again, so I think maybe you can play the short side in the Aussies. Kiwis looking like it's going to hold here, and as such I'll be looking for a little bit of Kiwi strength potentially. Euro I think sideways, so I think Euro goes either way against any pairs, so just play the technicals on a setup in that regard. So I hope that's been useful. It's kind of how I set up for my coming week. Obviously that's just the majors, and I'll be going through them all again tomorrow morning when I come in, because Mondays are normally a bit more quiet. I will set up all of the other pairs as well, so I actually go through 21 pairs, and that will be my complete setup, and I'll be looking to do that on a Monday when volatility is hopefully lower. We have had some quite busy Mondays, so I hope that's been useful. As I said, check the news as well. I'll be going through it every morning in my morning videos. But certainly it looks like it's going to be an interesting week, and I look forward to hopefully trading alongside you if you sign up to our virtual floor, which is in the link below, and I look forward to your input on that. Our head trader Andy Demi is actually running a free psychology webinar this week, so please click the link below and sign up for that. It's completely free. He's going to talk through his psychology, which again will be very, very useful. Click subscribe in the link below to never miss another trading opportunity again. I'll be back tomorrow morning before 7 a.m. to give you the update of what I'm looking for potentially in the morning after we've had tonight's closes. After we've had tonight's trading. And yeah, it should be a good week. Looking forward to it. So happy trading, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.